I wasn't expecting to share. However, I will give you a little of my testimony, and I'll share with you something maybe that was on my heart. I did do a podcast yesterday. I did a podcast with a friend of mine who I went to Bible school with. I went to a Bible school in 2001, 2002. I went to World Harvest Bible College, Pastor Rod Parsley, in Columbus, Ohio. And we had just a wonderful experience there in Bible college. At that time, it was the peak of that Bible school. They had the most enrollment, the highest students at that time, and it was just a revival atmosphere. Chapels were crazy. We would run around the pews, run on the tables. We'd throw chairs across the room. I mean, it was wild, you know. It was just Pentecost to the max, you know. So that was, and after we left, it kind of went down, but when we were there in the good times. So one of my classmates from there that we would hang out, and, you know, Bible college students, we would hang out all night long, drink coffee and debate scriptures and debate, you know, predestination, debate, you know, post-trib, mid-trib, and all these kind of boring topics, you know, but we were real passionate about it. You know, Europeans killed each other over these things, you know, but, and we'd play spades, we played cards and stuff. So we got together. He drove up here 2.5 hours to see me yesterday. We did a podcast, and he said, you know, Bishop, he said, you have all of these great testimonies, things like incredible, crazy stories about your faith and what God did, you know, because of your faith, and how, you know, you believe God for this and believe God for that, and just wild, amazing stories. Can you share them? And I said to him, I said, if you don't mind, I'd like to flip that on you. I said, because number one, I'm kind of tired, you know, being in America now for a couple of years. I'm kind of tired of every, you know, minister saying how great they are and how wonderful they are and how you got to listen to them and they're so great, you know. I'm kind of tired of that now. And secondly, everyone talks about the highlights. Everyone talks about the highlights. You know, they talk about the home runs. They don't talk about the misses. And I said, let me tell you guys about the lowlights. So I did my podcast kind of sharing the lowlights. And I think it's important because we live in a time now. First of all, there is a spiritual awakening happening. There is a revival happening. As a matter of fact, right before I did this podcast yesterday, over in Manhattan by the Ralph Lauren building, we just sat outside a coffee shop and did the podcast. There was a worker from the Ralph Lauren store there. And he said, he saw all of our cameras and microphones and tripods. And he's like, what are y'all doing? I saw y'all in the store. And I'm like, yeah, well, you know, I'm a pastor and he's a minister and we're doing a podcast. And he's like, man, that's awesome. You know, he said, I'm following God now. I'm believing in God now. And I said, really? I said, what's your background? He said, well, I'm Haitian. You know, Haitians are, if they're not a witch doctor, they're Catholic, you know. So he's like, I'm Haitian. And I grew up Catholic. My family's all Catholic. But, you know, being raised in New York and studied computer science and became a, you know, computer science major, I started kind of thinking the concept of God and religion is just erroneous, make-believe. It's for weak people. You know, science is the true thing. And he said, so he stopped believing in God and was an atheist for a season of his life. He said, but recently he has found that he says that it's like a sixth sense. That's what he said. He said it's like a sixth sense. Something is happening in the world right now. And I didn't want to get into it with him as far as like politics and stuff, but you know, there's more elections this year than any time in human history. This year, there's over 56 heads of state being changed across the world. There is major shifting happening right now. Not only that, but with the AI and with transhumanism and all these things happening around the world. And of course, China, which we're coming out of China, Iran, Russia, you know, the shifting, you know, from the Western center of power to the communist Chinese, really, in my opinion, the Communist Chinese Party is the most powerful government on earth. And that's because the government that was the most powerful, America, has been bought out and sold out, all the way from our generals to the president's family and so forth. So we are really, the earth is shifting. We are shifting into a new time. And here's this guy who's just kind of Catholic, Haitian, atheist. Now he senses something. He said, everyone can feel it. Russell Brand can feel it. Russell Brand is now a Christian. Candace Owens is now Catholic. And we even seen recently, Kanye became a Christian for a while. And so we're seeing this global awakening. People are becoming Christian almost without a preacher, without an evangelist. They're just awakening to the reality of God. In this hour, there is a revival happening. He could sense something. This secular guy could sense something. And so I was really taken back by that. And I was reflecting on the fact of why one of the big celebrities, Kanye West, why he's upset. He's saying he is God now. He says I'm God. But when he talks about this in his interview, he says something, and I'm seeing a lot of people. Let me just say this: when I started off in Bible college in 2001, everyone was on fire for God. All my friends were saved, on fire. We're all going to be apostles and prophets and all this. And after Bible college, we were like shot out of a cannon, and almost all of us landed on our face. So it's true, Oh, we're so excited. We're going to conquer the world, and the world conquered most of us, So, and a lot of guys I went to school with are totally backslidden, not serving God. I mean, I'm not even going to mention some of the things my classmates are, where they're at, because it's a shame to even speak of. It's just wickedness, unbelief, and all kinds of craziness that kids I went to school with, prayed with, worshiped with, had revival with. And you see, even out of some of the revivals, like Brownsville Revival, there was a lot of fallout too. People also departing from the faith. So on one end, you have a lot of people departing from the faith, and not to mention, if you watch the news or social media, we're seeing pastor after pastor after pastor, major, top evangelical leaders resigning, and scandals coming out and so on. One of my favorite, I love Dr. Tony Evans and respect him very highly. He just resigned for some sin. I don't know exactly what happened. And the list goes on. And just yesterday, some stuff came out about Robert Morris Gateway Church, another great man of God. So we're seeing a strange shifting, like exposing of sin in certain pastors, a backsliding of some of the most zealous saints, and then we're seeing the unsaved getting on fire for God.